Well, I'm actually going to do a Days of Our Lives video for the first time in a while. I've been watching again in March after giving up again after two rapes. But with Ron's writing finally winding down, I had to check out the show, finally dealing with the fact that EJ really did rape Sammy almost 2 decades ago. It's good to see the show finally telling the truth about that situation. Because back then, they tried to give in to the crazy Ijami stands who tried to pretend like what we all saw happen on screen wasn't what we saw happen on screen. EJ holding a gun on Sammy, making her have sex with him, the only way that he would save Lucas from being trapped and almost dying was if Sammy would sleep with him. Disgusting. So yeah, that is what made me check back in. I had to finally see the fallout of that. The fact that Ron was telling the story let me know that it was going to be subpar because Ron's writing usually is that. At least it's not campy. That's a positive. I feel like they've at least tried a little bit to try and make this story compelling. So I will give the show some credit for that. The acting has been great. I think Carson Boatman is finally really stepping up to the plate as Johnny, finding out the way that he was conceived was via rape, that his father raped his mother. And so he did good. Dan, however you pronounce his last name, who now plays EJ, has been powerful in his scenes. Of course, Raven, who plays Chanel, was also good in the scene when Johnny is confronting EJ, punching him in the face. I thought her reaction just watching that was done really well. The best scenes, however, were between Dan and Lauren Koslow, however you say her last name, who plays Kate. I'm terrible with names. Sorry. I will always be terrible with names. But the Kate and EJ scenes were very powerful. And it's great to see Kate actually seem like Kate again and go toe to toe with EJ. I thought those are my favorite scenes of the fallout of all of this drama. Now, as compelling as it has been to watch, it's just missing people. Lucas, Ellie, and of course Sammy should be a part of this story. And I know that Allison Sweeney's coming back, so Sammy will probably deal with the story when she gets back. But I'm really hoping to see Lucas involved too. I don't think we'll get Ellie, but it would be nice if Johnny had his sister there to be a part of this story. So there is people and elements from this story missing, which is kind of hurting it in my opinion. But nonetheless, at least Ron decided to tell a decent story before his exit for once. I believe we only have like 3 to 3.5 weeks left of Ron's writing. I will be watching this more after Ron is gone and to see how the new writing comes along. Because the other stories besides this one, the fallout of Johnny actually learning the truth about EJ and Sammy, is the rest of the stories aren't very good. I feel like Ron really dropped the ball with all of these sore-assed children, soap opera, rapid agent syndrome. I don't care about most of them. They're very much fast forward material. I like that Belle and EJ are still like having an affair, and that Belle is wrapped and intertwined in a lot of things. When Sammy comes back, that could make for some good TV too. The only other thing that's actually worth watching to me is Marlena and Steve trying to find John because, of course, we lost Drake in real life. And And so the show now has to find a way to write John off. And Monday's episode, I'm recording this Monday, posting it Tuesday, was them possibly finding John gone. Hopefully that wasn't the case, because that would be a weak way to write off John. They need to write off John as like a hero, to really pay respect to the character and to Drake. The way I would have wrote it is, it would have been a good way to introduce a couple of new characters too. Like John saved someone, random new characters, sacrificed himself maybe to do that. Like they brought back Orpheus because, Stefano's gone. So Orpheus, I guess, is kind of the only person that could be John's rival. But Ron has wrote in Orpheus way too much, to the fact that like he's really a non-factor now. But I can understand why Orpheus would be involved with the end of John, since Stefano is gone. So I get it. But in usual Ron style, I don't really know if it's working per se. They've brought back Shane, if it's really Shane. He was acting strange in the episode I watched of him. To be involved in the story. Of course, Steve is involved in the story. Marlena, they brought back Paul, who's now with Andrew. I like them as a couple. I wish they were actually around a lot. They would be worth watching. But they're only, coming in once in a while. But yeah, I've watched that storyline at least, and not fast forward it like I have most of the show. I think overall in March, Days was watchable at times, but really only when the Johnny finding out the truth episodes were airing, and then a couple of episodes of the aftermath of that. I have enjoyed that story. It still could be better, like I said, because there are people missing, but I guess you got to work with what you have. But this is a story they could have told quite a while ago. Like, Carson Boatman has been on as Johnny for 3-4 years now, and they're just barely telling the story now. But better late than never, I suppose, and it's good to finally see the show actually tell the truth about EJ and Sammy's, the beginning of their relationship. And, E-Jammy stands, if I offend you, don't care. I feel the same way about Luke and Laura, the most popular couple in soap opera history. They started similarly, and it was gross, and it hasn't aged well. Don't know what to tell you. It's unfortunate that soaps do this to popular couples, but they do. Now, going forward, we have some returns coming up, which is exciting as the show celebrates its 60th anniversary. Of course, I'm looking forward to Bo and Hope, my personal favorite couple in this show's history. When they really do write off John, whenever that really is, like I said, I'm recording this Monday, so I don't know what happened from the fallout of the end of Monday's episode. But obviously that's going to be very sad to watch the John's funeral and all of that. I hope the show goes way out. Similarly, with what they did to with Doug's funeral at the end of last year or earlier this year. I don't really remember when that was, but we have that to go on. Sammy's coming back, like I said. Hopefully there's some other returns coming as well. It's good to see Ron going. It's far overdue. If the show would have listened to me over 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was saying Ron got to go, it would have saved us from years of just gutter trash storytelling. But here we are still. But he's finally going. Once again, better late than never, I guess. But I don't know what to expect from the new writing. I'm hoping it's at least less campy, a little more grounded, and more compelling. And mostly what I really hope is they get rid of Ron's pets. I can deal without Alex. Sorry, Robert Scott Wilson, you can go. I can deal without Leo. Gotta go. Honestly, a lot of these younger characters, they dropped the ball with them. But maybe the new writing can work some magic with them, but I have my doubts about that. Anyway, rambling now. Haven't talked about days in a while, but I have been watching, so I wanted to record a video about March. I'll probably record a video towards the end of Ron's writing here in like 3 weeks or so. And then after that, maybe I'll try and record a video weekly if I like the new writing. Here's hoping I do. Like, I want to like the new writing. Days has always been my show, the soap I started with. So it would be nice to see some consistent writing again from the show, but I can never get my hopes up with Days.